Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another Risk tutorial video. So today we'll be going over the Risk server known as Customs. So Customs is basically a world where there are no real nations as there are in the modern world or any kind of historical point. There are only these custom nations that have each of their like a different government, a different ethnicity, different name, anything that makes it a custom. So as you can see, there are a lot of different nations that do not exist in the real world. Like let's say this large Germany. It's an empire, a militaristic dictatorship. Kind of makes sense for 1944 AD. So there's some, you got like your obvious France, Italy, Turkey. So basically, forced customs is a lot about user creativity, not more a little bit of realism here and there, but it's mostly about who can make a custom that is original and does not pertain too much to real life or historical events. So there's a lot of different things about forced customs you should know. Most of the things that you need to know are on the rule books, on the customs handbook. It has all the rules that you need to know, such as how your nation should be, what it defines what a ripoff is, and it has all kinds of good information that players need in order to make a nation. So right here we have one of the biggest parts of customs that's called a lore. So a lore is basically the lore of your nation. So it explains why your nation is there, how it functions, the historical events that happened before the RP, the roleplay, and it's very useful for allowing other players to know, well, who is this, So I think this is actually a very long, in-depth lore. So basically, this all here is things that you don't really need all of this kind of stuff, but it is very nice to have well explained and in-depth lore compared to like 3 sentences saying what your nation is. So this is a very good example of lore. Of course, it only needs to be about like a paragraph or something long. It just depends on what you're doing. So we have the player's nation here, Confederation of Alphenser. We have all this kind of information that's good. So we got the head public, like legislator, languages, religions, establishment, population. So the things that you mostly are gonna want in a having a custom nation is probably the population and the ethnicity / religion. Also having the government is very important, so it lets other players know, like, oh well, this is German instead of historically English. So I think this right here is, yes, so the main language was German and it's Protestant. So it's probably, Northern German descent, but with strong English influence, I'm assuming. Of course, it all changes to each player. They have their own ideas. So yeah, we got Quebec here, kind of the same idea of Quebec, but independent. So right here we just have a little tutorial. So this is just like a rundown of what rules are very important. So you may not be named after a nation that existed in real life. You must list your culture, government type, an example, republic, and religion. You can't be named after a geographical area, like a river, unless it's minor. Minor meaning that it's not very important or it's very rare, like something that's just not really important or strategically valuable. So naming yourself after the Rhine would break the rules compared to naming yourself after a river in California or like a creek in California. So general bonuses are not allowed. We went over general bonuses earlier. Um, so they're not allowed here. You must have a realistic culture or a custom one. Realistic culture meaning that it adheres to historical, to a real life kind of a real life scenario while having some creativity, or it could be totally custom. This means that it's, pretty much everything's custom, but it could have a little bit of influence from a certain nation or ethnicity. You may not have the exact same borders as a country at the time. So if we were in 1944 and you're using, British borders, that would be a ripoff. It still goes on for any year. You can't have like a Roman Empire in 2017. You can't have the same borders as that. So you may not have borders that look similar or the exact same. Actually, yeah. So the borders, I already said that before. Actually, I missed the exact. You cannot be as the same country. So if you wanted to be the German Empire, you can't be that. You'd have to be something similar to it, or like an offshoot. But it cannot be too much of a ripoff, or else I would break the rules. You may not change letters to make it look original. That's like changing, putting like the states of the United America. You can't do that. Nothing like it. If you are role playing with NPCs, you must give NPCs an army. So you can't just automatically invade and control a nation. You must draw the enemy borders. So you can't expand into the gray color here. Cannot expand into that if there's not a NPC. So, and then you must roll or role play your battles, not just roll once in paint. So basically that just means that you should be role playing instead of using dice. It's very important that you become as in-depth as possible. It just makes better RP overall. You can only use help for important things, although this mostly just be like if someone's rule breaking or you need help, just use that. And then this is just like a recommendation. He's using Source Sans Bold, Fantasy Area Bold, others are fine. So you can still customize anything. So this was made by another admin. Thank him if you want to. Anyways, so yeah. As you can see, we have all kinds of different things going on. Some things are more similar than others. They're not that creative custom sometimes, but yeah, so we got like a totalitarian Japan here. Kind of similar, kind of a ripoff, but it's allowed since we've been a lot more lenient on nations like that. So yeah. There's also like colonies, like a French India, that's kind of like the main idea. Like, oh, what if, like, it's not very the biggest idea. It's not like a complete idea of risk, but, or of course, forced customs, but it should be, what if this was owned by this instead of that, Something like that is always good to think about and use that idea as a basis for roleplay. And there's all kinds of scenarios you can do. It's not just limited to certain nations. There's pretty much anything you can do in this server, and sometimes it's just really nice just to create your own nations and see how you do, or your nation would do in a customs only. Anyways, that's the most basic overview of customs. We'll probably go more into depth later. I have some videos on the way, but right now we'll be having a slower pace than usual since just got a lot of school and life going on. So yeah, if you have any comments, ask them in the comments section below, and I'll see you guys soon.